Good evening, wrestling fans. Dave Price speaking to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto once again. And this week, Frank Tunney has another fine card lined up for you. Baron Gattoni of Italy against Red Lyons of Hamilton. In the first bout, that was a great big hand for our ring announcer, Jerry Hipp. In the second bout, it's a tag team bout. Kenneth of New Zealand and Pat Flanagan of Toronto against the Miller brothers, Big Bill and Ed. And in our TV main event tonight, Édouard Carpentier of France against Steve Stanlee of Chicago. And the first bout between Baron Gattoni and Red Lyons will be coming up in just a moment. Here's Red Lyons coming into the ring now, a Hamilton boy who did not get his start in Canadian rings. He started his wrestling in the United States. Here is the Baron Gattoni of Italy, making his first Canadian appearance. Baron Gattoni has only been in North America about a year. More about that later. Looks as if we're about ready to go, so here's Jerry Hipp. H-I-F-F.
This bout, one fall for the 20-minute time limit. In the red corner, from Italy, weighing 280 pounds, Baron Gattoni. And in the white corner, from Hamilton, weighing 239 pounds, Red Lyons. The referee, Cliff Worthy.
There's a picture of Red Lyons. Cliff Worthy's the referee. This Baron Gattoni, this 280 pounds is not right. He doesn't look his weight, but I talked to him before the bout. He weighs 305 pounds. Well, he might too when you see him stripped. But in any case, Red Lyons is giving away a lot of weight, about 70, 75 pounds in his bout with Baron Gattoni. Gattoni, who is 32 years old, when he left Italy, he was due to come right straight to Toronto, but he didn't have his papers in order, so he has been all this time, 1 year, in the United States wrestling, and he's finally in Toronto. That's the Baron with the long hair and the beard, and that's Lyons with that wrist lock, briefly. Got it again. Look at the chest on this Gattoni. Lyons with a headlock. You can probably hear that grunting up there. That's Red trying to hold it. Wow, he came off the ropes into a elbow smash in the chin that really dropped him. This is a chin lock. Can slip into a choke very easily, and apparently it has, according to Cliff Worthy. And the Baron didn't want to break it. There's a hammerlock by Red. That Baron is built like the proverbial brick house. 300 pounds, 305 pounds. A little bit difficult for Cliff Worthy to move away, too. There was a judo chop across the bridge of the nose of Lyons. He just clubs him. No science, just clubs him. Well, Red smashes didn't make too much impression. Another headlock by Red into the ropes. And again he came off and into that smash. Gattoni comes from northern Italy, and apparently he's got Red given up. Worthy has given him the customary pats on the back, and the winner in very short order, in less than 4 minutes, is Baron Gattoni of Italy. So he certainly made his...
The winner,
about a very
Baron Gattoni.
It's a bear hug where he had Lyons across his shoulders, as you saw, but it was the hands punched at the base of Red's spine, I think, that did the damage. Cliff Worthy has, I guess he's sending out for a stretcher, or the doctor. Well, we almost got a little one going right in front of us here, Dan, too. Some of the boys have taken exception to some of the things that were said about one of the wrestlers in that last bout. They're on their feet, and, ooh, things are being said here. Well, there's Red Lyons. He's still out like the proverbial light. And here comes Dr. Miller now. All the good doctor can do is look. And they're probably gone out to get the stretcher. Well, that's a rough one for Red Lyons. Apparently this, what looks like a comparatively simple hold, is a lot more punishing and severe than you would think. Well, we had coats off down here, but they're putting them back on again right at the twosome ahead of us, who are going to give us a little extracurricular activity. In the meantime, we can see from here that Red is breathing. There goes referee Worthy. Out on the double. The stretcher will undoubtedly be back in the hospital room. Here it comes now. Well, it's a good thing that it isn't Gattoni at 305 pounds who has to be carried out, because Lisner could never make it. Philly couldn't carry one corner. Well, that's the first time we've seen anyone go out of the ring on a stretcher in a long time. We've seen them go out pretty groggy, but usually they make it under their own power, or at least with the help of another wrestler. But that's a first for Baron Gattoni, and certainly a first for Red Lyons, and our next bout will be coming up in just a moment. There goes Red. And the next bout, Kenneth of New Zealand, Pat Flanagan of Toronto, against the Miller brothers. Kenneth at 235, Flanagan at 230, Bill Miller at 290, Ed Miller at 300. So there you've got some idea of the kind of opposition that Kenneth and Flanagan are going to be up against tonight. Of course, our main event brings that very fabulous Édouard Carpentier of France against Steve Stanlee of Chicago. Steve Stanlee, who at one time held the title Mr. America. But this Carpentier, we haven't seen him now in quite a while, but he is fantastic. And if you're seeing him for the first time, be sure and take a good look. Well, there are the Millers. From Ohio, here comes Flanagan and Kenneth. And here's Jerry Hiff.
This bout, one fall, with a 30-minute time limit. This will be a tag team match. In the red corner, from Ohio, weighing 290 pounds, Big Bill Miller. Also in the red corner, and from Ohio, weighing 300 pounds, his brother, Ed Miller. And in the white corner, from New Zealand, weighing 235 pounds, Kenneth. Also in the white corner, from Toronto, weighing 230 pounds, his partner, Pat Flanagan. There will be two referees, Joe Golub and Al Bunny Dunlop.
Joe Golub and Bunny Dunlop, the referees for this one. The Millers, making their debut a week ago, are a couple of pretty rugged individuals. Big Bill, the lighter of the two, the smaller of the two, was a 9-letter man at Ohio State University. Threw the discus 167 feet. He was on the wrestling team and was the Big Ten wrestling champion after Vern Gagne graduated and was out of that conference. He also played tackle on the Ohio State football team. His brother, Ed, only had 1 year college, then was in the Marines, and came out and went with his brother wrestling. That's Ed Miller. No, that's Big Bill against Kenneth. Big Bill only weighs 290 pounds. Little Ed weighs 305. Kenneth trying to put a lift on the big guy and lift him out, but just having none. It's a small conference. Kenneth gets into that wrist lock very quickly. Flanagan is in to protest to Joe Golub for the hair pull. Patrick better save his energy. steps out. Trouble is, the Millers don't only threaten, they come through when they make up their mind to kick. He wants to shake hands with Kenneth. No footwork, he said. Well, there's a full Nelson. And they got him over where little Ed got him a good lick to the chops. There's Dunlap clapping the big guy. But in the meantime, they did a lot of damage to Kenneth. Dunlap's drawing it back. But Dunlap's using his feet. But so is Big Ed, or Big Bill. A little bit confusing. Kenneth kicked out. He got over and made a tag with Flan. Here comes Patrick. So, Big Bill tags with Ed. So there's Flanagan in against Ed Miller. It's 70 pounds difference, 75 pounds difference. So Kenneth helps a little bit. There's the mule kick. There's another one, and over goes Ed. He's outside. He's going over for a small conference. And he tagged, but it doesn't count. He tagged outside the ropes. Ed has to come in inside the ropes and then tag. But he decides against it, apparently. He said, I'll get Flanagan in here, and then you take care of him. Kenneth is in to tell Flanagan not to go in there. Those guys can't help themselves, but Flan's a little bit too slippery. Flanagan's been around this too often. And when he hasn't been wrestling, he's been seeing too many. There's a whip. A wrist lock. Pat doesn't have to write any checks tonight. Dunlap saw the trunk pull. Golub is breaking the hold. There's another twist. Here's the old arm stretcher. Flan broke it. He's got a headlock, and Ed Miller, but he's awful close to the bad guy's corners. Pat got that one right in the tummy. And they got him back in that corner. tag, and in comes Big Bill. Look at the twist. It wasn't for below zero weather and about a foot of snow all over the place. With the work they're doing on that left arm of Flanagan's, I'd challenge him to a game of golf tomorrow. He couldn't even swing a tee. Kenneth got in time. So they're trying to make peace again. Those elbow smashes under the heart. Another drag. Good flip by Flanagan. And a 2 count on Big Bill. See Flanagan give him that judo toss there. Flanagan's losing a little weight. This could be the comparison in size with the Millers. They are a couple of big guys. There was a twist. That is about as damaging a bit of business that could be done to a knee. And this doesn't help. There they go again. One holds it, the other drops on it. You can see what that'll do to the knee. And a little more of the same. That could break a knee and really put it out. Pat's is just about gone, I would say. There's all the rest of that pressure on that knee. And they're dragging him over again. Well, one more of those. Flanagan's nuts if he doesn't quit. Elbow smashes. Flan pulled him, and he's got him. If the brother doesn't come in, but he got in there. He got past Golub. Big Bill got past Golub. That's one that Flan usually finishes him with. There's that kick again, and a tag, and in comes Big Bill. He made the tag. Made the tag with Kenneth, and here's a wild New Zealander right at the moment. Golub is questioning the tag. Miller isn't helping things any, but he did make the tag. Flanagan didn't get a chance to tag him. Well, the Millers will get an assist from Mr. Gollop. That knee to the stomach didn't help the cause a bit. There's a takedown with the trunks. Takedown with a hair pull. He handles Gollop without too much trouble. These are terrific guys, these Millers. They got terrific build. But when they miss, they miss. I don't know how Flanagan got over there. There goes Big Ed down. There's a drag. Whoa, look at Land throw him. Get the reaction of this crowd, too. Big. And they have to break it. There's a tag, which we hope they saw, and the Millers tag. Oh, it's Kenneth against Ed Miller, and he promptly put a body scissors on the New Zealander. Those legs, he ought to put them on pretty good. These guys can reach halfway across the ring with either their arms or their feet. Flanagan's in again, arguing with Dunlap, and in the meantime, is really putting a choke on Kenneth. I never saw two referees so completely ignored by a couple of wrestlers in my life, and they do nothing about it. These Millers have got absolutely no respect for anybody. Kenneth gets kicked right in the face. Here's a giant swing, only it's by his neck instead of by his feet. Kenneth will be wearing a size about 14 collar tomorrow and be able to wear a high one. Here's this Ohio backbreaker. This is where they just switch from one to the other. Flanagan and Golub having a little fun in there, but it's going to mean nothing. Meantime, Kenneth is taking all the punishment up there. And the winners are the Miller brothers. And the referees, and a very unpopular one it is. The winners, Bill and two big guys there. Total of about 600 pounds. Bill gets over and gets one kick in at Flanagan. So the two of them have got planned. Boom, and he got it. And he got it again. One held him while the other clobbered him. Here we go again. Flan's about due to duck. I thought he would, but he didn't that time. There go the Millers. And Flanagan and Kenneth got themselves quite a pasting. Consoling each other there now. So our TV main event between Édouard Carpentier of France and Steve Stanlee of Chicago, I almost said Steve Douglas, will be coming up in just a moment. Now there would be a bout. Édouard Carpentier, who came over from France some time ago, was off, as you recall, for quite a while when he tore the ligaments in one knee very badly and had to be hospitalized and a lot of treatment on it. Steve Stanlee, who has been here on numerous occasions, was at one time Mr. America and has been a top-notcher and a headliner wherever he's appeared. and is a great wrestler and can certainly give Carpentier quite a go. But Carpentier, the agility of the man is simply astounding. And if you've never seen him before, well, when our TV main event comes up, this next bout, just sit right up in the edge of your chairs because you'll be there sooner or later anyway. Well, our 4 tag team wrestlers are all back in the dressing room. There's part of the crowd. Jerry Hiff is waiting now for Carpentier and Steve Stanlee to come in the ring. There's another good crowd at Maple Leaf Gardens tonight in the neighborhood of 10 or 11,000, which is pretty good for a very cold night. But this Carpentier has packed places. Wherever he's been, he's drawn them in. And Steve Stanlee of Chicago is certainly no pushover for Édouard Carpentier. And here comes Steve Stanlee right now, the former Mr. America, with his very blonde hair. There he goes, in easy. Carpentier following him. So I think we're about ready to go. Let's go up to the ring and Jerry Hiff. And that's H-I-F-F. That's for the information of some people who wrote me.
In the red corner, from France, weighing 220 pounds, Édouard Carpentier. Right in the white corner, from Chicago, weighing 235 pounds, Steve Mr. America Stanlee. The referee, Bert Maxwell.
This Édouard Carpentier still has no knowledge to speak of the English language, and usually has an interpreter around with him. All the rules have been explained to him before the bout by his interpreter, although he has been here long enough now and has done enough wrestling in France to know all the rules. He knows enough to reach out and see whether or not Stanley's got any grease on him. He just smiles at Stanley there as Stanley tries the same. So, Mr. Stanley wants it that way. Well, Stephen is going to get a lot of action. Look at the physique on this young Frenchman. Stanley with his strut, his blonde hair, reminds you something of Buddy Rogers, except I don't think he's quite as unscrupulous as Rogers. He got a little of the same that time. Stanley's got a terrific physique.
The enjoyment of a good majority of the crowd. Detroit and Boston are 1-all as they play late in the second period.
It was pretty close to a pin. Wrist lock and a kick to the back by Stanley. Stanley still doesn't believe it. He wants to ask Maxwell if it's true. The head scissors by Stanley. Stanley still trying to get the answers from Bert Maxwell. Never get them from Bert because Bert doesn't know either. takedown. Look at that bridge. Stanlee weighs 235 pounds. I tell you, this Carpentier is sensational. Stanlee with that twisting armbar. Showing his muscles off to the television cameras out. Somebody told him where our cameras were located, I guess. An arm drag and a takedown, and if he wants to play those kind of games, he's got them. Even Max was laughing at that one. It didn't work for Stanlee, the same as it did for Carpentier. Well, here's an arm stretch. Didn't think it could be a hair pull, and as he says it isn't a hair pull. That was a nose pull that got him over. Didn't quite get up in that flip. And he reversed that hold in a hurry. Stanley's way of breaking it, and then come the boots, and then the fist over the eye, and boy, he's got Carpentier a little bit groggy. A little more of the same. All the way over. And that's it. Well, that was a fantastic ending to this bout. He's got the crowd on his feet. There he is. If he wants it tough, Carpentier can give it to Mr. America tough. And that twister he didn't like. Oh, there's Mr. America. Mr. America was reduced to Mr. York Township awful fast there.